My name is Sally. I live with my husband Mark and our daughter who is now 5 years old and has become more verbal. I'm a 31 years old working mother. We're not particularly rich or poor, just a normal and very close family, which ended up being hit by the storm. The storm was called Victoria, my mother-in-law. Her husband had passed away, and she had been living alone since. She, Mark, and I agreed not to live together at the beginning of our marriage. It was hassle-free for all of us. Mark was the only son she conceived late in her marriage. 5 years after we got married, she had become quite old, and living alone was becoming a lot harder and more dangerous. Mark took the time to go and see her, but it seemed troublesome for him. Watching him try not to burden me and tackling on his own, I made up my mind to have her moving with us. My loving husband was working hard, and how could I not support him? I put myself together and boldly told him about my decision. He was very surprised and uncertain at first. To be honest, I wasn't certain either, but also knew the situation needed to be implemented. I told him that I won't be able to do much as I still have to take care of the chores, our daughter, and my work. If anything happened to Victoria, he was basically responsible to care for her. We discussed in length about our plan and then welcomed her into our home.
Thank you so much, Sally. I really appreciate it.
On one spring day, when cherry blossoms were dancing in the wind, she thanked me in tears. Seeing her humble attitude, I thought we were going to live well together. She remained modest in the beginning, but as the days went by, her true nature was revealed. Her bullying started on me, and I realized how wrong my judgment was.
Sally, this tastes too strong for me. Can you dilute it?
If I did as I was told, then she said,
Why did you make it so tasteless? Are you mocking me? How rude.
This was just the beginning.
All my clothes must be washed by hand. The washing machine will damage them. They are all good quality.
When I suggested taking them to dry cleaning, she replied,
Such a waste of money. You're living off of my son's income. You should think more about saving money.
It could have been solved easily if she paid for them from her own pocket, but she seemed not to consider. Well, I was convinced that she was just harassing me as she was smirking the whole time. By the way, this was the introductory level. The intermediate level was like this.
Sally, do you put on makeup? I don't think it helps you much. The base is bad to begin with. My granddaughter is lucky to take my son's look. He looks like me. Hence, she too looks like me. She has a bright future.
And she woke up at 4 in the morning to put on makeup for over 2 hours. She looked like a different person after a shower. I could respect her as a woman for wanting to be beautiful forever, but her foundation was way lighter for her skin tone. She looked like a geisha. Her cheeks were oddly red. Plus, I had a hard time getting her bright red lipsticks off the cups. I knew how rude it was to criticize someone's appearance, so I kept my mouth shut. What I couldn't forgive was that she threw away my precious makeup set so easily. When I came back from work, the whole thing was gone. I asked her why she threw it away.
I've been telling you, haven't I? It doesn't work on your ugly face. Don't waste money on useless things. Save, save, save. Do without makeup from now on. Oh, how caring I am for this family. You better appreciate me.
Never would I ever. If I was in the mountains, I would have screamed my head off. The word never would have echoed many times into her ears. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the mountains. The lame thing was that she only bullied me when we were alone. She chose the time when Mark was at work and our daughter was in preschool. I hesitated to complain to Mark about his mother, but I still wanted him to be aware of it. I mildly expressed my dissatisfaction after much agonizing, but it was useless. "I'll speak to her." When he warned her, she ended up denying in tears. She even went as far as to say that I was trying to frame her. Mark didn't know what to do but was confused. I too had no choice but to roll my eyes. If she refused to own up to her actions, I had a plan. A picture was worth 1,000 words. I decided to secretly record the interactions between her and me and show them to him. When I was thinking about where to hide the camera, the advanced level of bullying started. It was spring when she moved in, and then a hot summer passed, autumn ended, and one day in winter, Mark was away on a business trip for a few days. My daughter was also away, staying with my parents. It was snowing outside. I usually drove my car for work, but I hadn't put chains on my tires, so I took a taxi on that day. After work, I normally cleaned the house, did laundry, and then cooked dinner. Let me repeat, it was the dead of winter and at night. Snow was piling up outside. It was definitely not the right situation to wash clothes by hand. Despite this, Victoria gave me a pile of her laundry with a grin.
Here's my laundry. These are expensive clothes, so you must wash them by hand.
She repeated must because she knew I wasn't going to like it. I wash in warm water.
No, you can't. The color will fade and you damage the fabric. You must wash in cold water in the whole time.
I was running out of my patience and thought, it's snowing out, you moron. Are you kidding me? Why should I use cold water on this freezing night? If you care so much, do it yourself. I yelled at her.
How dare you? I'm elderly. Are you serious suggesting I wash these in cold water myself?
I wanna ask if you're serious.
I am always serious.
It was worse if she really meant it. Not expecting that I was going to talk back to her, her face turned red, and she grimaced at me. I wasn't going to step back. Why don't you go outside and check for yourself? You've been warmed inside all day long, so you don't realize, do you? It's snowing a lot and unbelievably cold out.
What the hell? You're telling me to go out in the cold? You're terrible.
What about you then? You demand me to use cold water in this cold. We argued back and forth. I was determined to fight all the way. I felt bad for Mark, but I couldn't be a good wife if I must continue to live with her. I was grimacing at her when she suddenly grabbed my hand tightly. She dragged me while I was taken aback by her strength, which made me doubt her age. And in no time, I was pushed out the front door. When I realized what was going on, the door locked with a thud. Victoria!
No need for a daughter-in-law like you. Get lost.
This is my house. You're the one to leave. My scream was useless. She was determined to lock me outside and ignore my banging on the door. I was in distress and didn't know what to do. Now we're in the cold and not having my kid, but thankfully my phone was in my pocket. I called Victoria. I could hear her phone ring, but she didn't answer. I tried to call Mark, who was supposed to return from his trip that night, but he didn't pick up. I had no choice but to text him. I got locked out of the house by your mom. I'll get hypothermia in the snow. I'll wait for you at a diner nearby. I started walking in the snow. I thought about calling 911, but I didn't want to make a big deal. I was sure Victoria would come up with some excuses to make me look bad. It was better for me to just wait at a diner. I wrapped my arms around my freezing body. My breath hovered around me like smoke. The snow kept falling non-stop and was accumulating on the ground. There was no car or bike passing by. It was nighttime, and there was hardly anyone in sight. I kept moving forward in the quiet darkness. When I finally arrived at the diner, I couldn't believe my eyes. Closed due to the snowstorm. The evacuation spot I reached in desperation was closed. What a night! I chose to go to the police station then. Instead of calling and waiting for them to come, I kept moving with a sense of despair before the heavy snow. The tips of my fingers and toes were numb. When I checked the time on my phone, it had been an hour since I got through out. I called Victoria once again, but she didn't answer. I was walking briskly in the scenery that had completely changed. Help! My feet stopped when I thought I heard something. I was at the beginning of a bridge over a river. I pricked up my ears. Help! What the? I heard it. It was very clear this time. I ran in the direction of the voice. I looked down from the bridge, which wasn't that high, and to my surprise, I saw someone. An old lady was calling for help, lying in a shallow part of the river. I ran down the bank as fast as I could and into the river. Icy water pierced my feet and legs. The coldness turned to pain, but I kept walking toward her. Are you alright? Help me! I can't move. I'm so cold. Are you okay? Stay with me. She must have been relieved to find help, so she leaned against me and passed out. I was in a panic. My feet and legs were frozen and didn't move as I wanted them to. Someone help us! Just when I thought my desperate cries were about to be lost in vain. Oh my God, are you okay? I thought I heard a man's voice, and then Mark showed up. The moment I saw him rushing toward me in a frenzy, I lost consciousness. When I opened my eyes the next time, I saw the white ceiling. Honey, are you awake? Mark hovered over my face with a concerned look. He told me that I was in the hospital. After he dragged the old lady and me out of the river, he called 911. It was the night before, and I had been sleeping since then. Your business trip? Hold on. When you called me, I was still on the plane. I called you back as soon as I landed, but you didn't pick up. There was a long queue for a taxi, so I took a train and was just walking back when I saw you going into the river. What luck. I panicked thinking you were throwing yourself into the river. Well, it seems the old lady did though. Mark told me that she tried to commit suicide because she was depressed about her life. When she hit the water, which was so cold that she came back to herself and tried to get out, but her body was frozen and she was unable to move. If she wasn't found at that time, she might have not made it. So she survived. As I felt relief, I became drowsy again. Sleep. You must be exhausted. Take a good rest. I was reassured by his kind words combined with the warmth of the hospital room. I slowly drifted off to sleep. Burning in anger at Victoria, I was hospitalized for a few days and regained my energy. When I got home in a short while, I frozen in front of it. Victoria never once showered her face while I was in the hospital and of course never apologized. She locked me out in the heavy snow and almost killed me. I honestly couldn't live with her anymore. I opened the front door with a heavy heart. As soon as I stepped inside, I was taken aback by the sight of her. Yikes! Victoria! I wasn't expecting to face her right away.
I'm very sorry, Sally.
I froze in surprise as her voice came into my ears. Pardon me? Unbelievable. She apologized. As I couldn't say anything, she continued.
I didn't imagine you would end up like that. I sincerely regret that I lost my temper and kicked you out. Please forgive me.
She begged in tears. Well, did you really regret it? She was always so condescending to me no matter what. She locked me out in the snow. I was very much skeptical. It was too crazy to think there was no catch. I looked at her with suspicious eyes. What would you do if I said I can't forgive you? Victoria jerked a little. I thought I was going to die from the cold. If Mark didn't find me, who knows how I would have ended up? I would think that anyone with the right mind would have known what was to happen if someone was locked out in such a heavy snowfall. If you say you didn't know, does that mean you are crazy? When I said it full of sarcasm, her face turned red.
What did you say?
She ranted loudly.
Just because I apologized, you tried to make advantage of me. How dare you? Mark said he would end up the cohabitation if I didn't apologize to you, so I had no choice but to obey him. Do you get it? I did what I was told to do, so it's over now. Get to your chores if you understood.
She took my little provocation so easily. I gloated over her true intention. She had no remorse as I expected. I guess people can change overnight. Especially a person like her won't change forever. As if to upset my feelings, she started bullying me right away.
You must wash my clothes in cold water.
She still wanted me to do that.
You must cook only my favorite meals. If it's bad, I will sort it out.
Oh God, no. There was no saving grace for her. I sighed loudly as I turned my face behind me. Honey, what should I do now? Mark stood a short distance away, just out of sight of Victoria. He, my husband and a beloved son of Victoria, had been standing there since the beginning.
Mark, what about your work?
Victoria was done by the side of him. I took a day off to accompany Sally. Anyway, you're not sorry at all, are you?
Oh, no. It was just a joke, of course.
If it really was, it was not funny at all. I told you, didn't I? Be deeply remorseful for what you did and apologize to her. And never do anything like that again.
I did apologize, didn't I?
You bounced back right away and were nasty to her again. I told you that was a joke. It was a very bad joke. I had told Mark to keep distance from me for a bit. Victoria reacted as I expected, or rather, more brilliantly. I couldn't stop laughing at her desperate excuses.
What are you laughing about, Sally? You know you're...
Hey, Mom, I'm talking to you right now. Listen to me.
I'm sorry.
It seemed that even she couldn't evade a scolding of her beloved son. He continued coming down on her, who listened in tears. How can you treat Sally so terribly? She was worried about you and agreed to have you with us.
I was a little out of line earlier, but I never bullied her.
She still tried to deny it.
Well, I did comment on her food a few times, but I just wanted her to know my taste. I told her to take my clothes to the dry cleaner, but she was the one who said it was a waste of money and wanted to wash them herself. When I told her to put some makeup on, she didn't listen and even threw her cosmetics away in front of me. I sometimes wondered if she was being sarcastic.
What was she talking about? It sounded like she didn't want to take any responsibility for all she had done. I had no choice but took out my phone and played back the recording.
These are expensive clothes, so you must wash them by hand.
A clear recording of her voice played. She screamed and tried to take my phone away. I dodged her hand and continued the playback.
You must wash in cold water. No need for a daughter-in-law like you. Get lost.
The sound of her dragging me out and locking the front door, ignoring me calling out to her. All the abuse she said and did that day was recorded. I had this phone in my pocket and was recording. Whenever I had conversation with her, I always set my phone to record mode, so that I could keep evidence of her words and deeds at any cost. My daily action must have brought me a good result. If I didn't have my phone that day, it would have turned out differently. Do you have anything to say? Victoria was agitated. Do you have any last words?
Last words?
Yes.
What do you mean?
This is the end. You trampled on my kindness to take care of you. I want you out of the house.
No way!
I'm cutting ties with you. You go ahead and leave alone. I'll never get in touch with you. I'll ignore you if you try to contact me. I'll never see you again. You still got the money from when you sold your house. If you have a pension on top of it, you can live comfortable without my support.
Wait a minute, Mark. Hold the thought. Are you going to throw me out? Are you betraying your only parent?
You betrayed me. She was speechless to his anger and just slumped her shoulders. The melting snow falling from the roof sounded louder than usual in the silence. Then it all happened so fast. Mark and I packed out Victoria's belongings while she was depressed and doing nothing. Her hometown where she was moving to was 2 hours by car from our house. She had some relatives there, but they've been estranged until now. I suppose no one was going to pay much attention even she came back. She also seemed to have no friends as she never went out when she was with us. I assumed she had a lot of time on her hands that she entertained herself by bullying with me. But it no longer mattered to me.
Bye-bye, Grandma.
My daughter flapped her hands to Victoria. She finally started to cry when she saw her lovely granddaughter not sad to see her go but smiling at her. A taxi carrying her drove off, leaving her sobs behind. It didn't bring up any feelings in me. I was just thinking she got a self-inflicted wound and walked into the house with a refreshed mind. Days and months passed by. Victoria was living alone and lonely. I sometimes received calls from her, so I assumed she was well. We have never met up or spoken to her as declared back then. She will continue to live alone and lonely. The cost of destroying the happiness she received was a high price to pay. I've gotten back peace of mind after she left. I'm serving tea to a surprise visitor as I listen to the sound of the washing machine spinning. My guest is an elderly woman, the same lady I had saved that snowing day. She became pessimistic about her life after living alone for a while and had a lot on her mind. But then she felt the icy river water and wanted to try living a little longer.
My son told me to move in with his family. That's great news. His wife is a very nice person, but I don't want to be burdened. So I've decided to move closer to them instead.
Oh, I see.
My son lives far away, and I don't see him at all. I've been alone and lonely ever since my husband passed away, and I thought nothing good would come for leaving. But now I know it doesn't have to be that way.
I'm very happy to hear that.
As long as I'm alive, I will leave. I'm very thankful to you for rescuing me that day."
We smiled at each other. The old lady lived hard, long and lonely, and found happiness. Victoria voluntarily disrupted her own cohabitation with her family. There are many ways to spend retirement. Everyone is different. But depending on your attitude, it can be happy or unhappy. Looking at the two old women, I have a vague idea of what I want my future to be like. I remind myself how I should live in order to keep my current peaceful and happy life, and to have a happy retirement.